Adam from Roots to Fruit. Today is a Friday. It's a Friday afternoon, right at the back end of March 2020. And we've actually enjoyed a really beautiful week this week as far as the weather is concerned. There's lots of things happening in the natural world as it starts to wake up from its period of winter dormancy. And one of the things that's taking place, the activity that we're seeing lots of, particularly in the mornings, is amongst our birds. The dawn chorus, that bird song that we can all hear in the mornings, is heralding or signalling the start of some activity that all of our bird species are engaging with around now, and that is nest building. They're all thinking about nest building or thinking about having families of their own, and that's what all that fuss is about. Now, our birds, lots of our native birds, British birds, will nest from around sort of March, this sort of time, all the way through to July usually, sometimes into August, depending on how the weather is at either end of the year. Now, behind me here, I have an example of a nest that has been built by one of our native British birds, and that's the blackbird. Now, I haven't helped myself to this particular nest. It had been abandoned, but it's a lovely example for me to show you. What's fantastic about this is the variety of different materials that the female blackbird, because it is the female that builds the nest, has used to make this particular nest ready for her young. There's everything in here from straw to twigs to sticks. She's used mosses, there are leaves in there, but interestingly she has used man-made materials, discarded things that human beings have left behind. She's incorporated those into her nest building too. We've got some plastic that she's found there that she's weaved into her nest, along with this twine and bits of string and even some ribbon around here. Blackbirds tend to operate on 2 weekly cycles, so the female will begin to build this nest and it will take her around 2 weeks to complete. If you look, she's used mud as the foundation. Wet soil is the foundation for her nest, into which she weaves all of those other materials to give it strength. She will lay ordinarily a clutch of anywhere between 3 to 5 eggs in here in any one time. You tend to find in gardens it's lower numbers of eggs. If this was a woodland nest or a woodland blackbird, she may lay as many as 5. And again, on that 2 weekly cycle, it takes around 2 weeks for her to incubate those eggs before the young are hatched. She will then spend a couple of weeks again allowing them to fledge and feeding them, and that's when the father bird gets involved and he will assist her in the feeding of those young while they're fledging. Then when they have fledged, the young blackbirds will climb out of the nest and will scramble down any nearby foliage onto the floor, and they'll hide there on the floor under cover for a further 9 or 10 days before they're able to fly and to fend for themselves. Blackbirds will build these nests under cover, usually quite low to the ground, and sometimes they will even build their nests completely on the ground. At the nursery, we found these nests actually built inside of abandoned plant pots. It's a perfect location for them to do that because it provides cover and it's sheltered and shielded, and it's there on the floor low down, which is where they like to be. So having a look at that, there's a fantastic activity that we can do in our own gardens, in our own outdoor spaces, whether you're at home now or whether you're at school, and that is that we can go out, we can send out the children that we're looking after into those places to forage for, to look for these materials in their own gardens. Get them collecting the sticks, the twigs, the straw. See if they can find those mosses. See if they can find those soft grasses. And holding it all together with sticky, wet mud, see if you can get the children that you're looking after to create their own nests, to practice that weaving technique that the female blackbird is so brilliant at doing, how she's mastered that. Get the children that you're looking after to find a suitable place to put the nest once they've built it. Can they find a low tree or a shrub or a hedge that they can secrete the nest that they have made? But crucially, will the nest that they have built be able to hold eggs? We've got some polystyrene eggs here. They're a little bit staticky, actually sticking to my fingers. And there we go, we've got 4 little eggs sitting in there, and once they're in the tree, will it stay there securely without the eggs dropping out? Now, if you don't have any polystyrene eggs knocking around, you can use stones or scrunched up bits of paper, or maybe you've got some small balls lying around, or even if you've got access to some small chocolate eggs, they could make a nice treat for those children afterwards. It's a great thing to do, particularly if you've got siblings that are trying to do it, to see who can build the most secure and robust nest, or maybe you've got other children in your care if you're still in that school environment. So it's a fantastic little activity to get involved in at this time of the year, because it's what's happening in the natural world. It's what all that noisy fuss is about in the mornings, and it needs to be well built, because sometimes a blackbird will use the same nest for 3 or 4 clutches and broods of eggs and chicks throughout an entire year before she abandons it. So it's asking a lot of that structure to withstand that. So get to it, see what you can make, and have fun with it.